Why do the keen of mind seek to satiate their curiosity in darkness and depravity?
The very sand shivers with malice. There's a power here that welcomes me.
You and I, we're the only ones that made it to shore. Alive, anyway. Looks like you found something you can defend yourself with. Good. This place is crawling with criminals. There's smoke rising just east of here. Could be worth checking if there's...
The dead will soon rise for me, not against me. Thought I'd be a dead woman by now.
Garden of 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐇, you have transgressed against your god and your fellow man. You have been a willing vessel for the following sins: unlawful avarice, 1 count of petty larceny, pecuniary sloth, being unable to sustain an occupation of value to society. God has charged me with your redemption. You are hereby exiled to 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐇, where it is hoped you shall come to repent your sins and make your peace with your beloved father.
I saw what you did to 𝐿𝐿𝐿 out there, witch. Your black art is the reason you're here, in exile. It may also be the only thing that allows you to see another dawn. I'm Nessa, and I suppose I should thank you for ridding us of that putrid giant. Back in Oriath, I judged your kind without hesitation. In 𝐿𝐿𝐿, I don't have that luxury. Lioneye's watch isn't much, but it's ours. We could use you here, while you live. But should you wish to venture out, do just one thing for me. Out on the coast, amongst the wrecks, there must be a ship's medicine chest. I have many to care for, and there's only so much I can do with herbs and seawater. While we live, we are blessed.
A wayfish, waterlogged witch, washed up in 𝐿𝐿𝐿. That's the first line of the poem I'm writing about you, exile. Easy, girl. You could scorch a bloke with a look like that. The name's Bestel, captain of the good ship Merveil. At last, my Merveil is gone. My crew is gone. But my wits remain, after a fashion. There's an island, a hop, skip and a wade offshore of the terraces. That's where my Merveil ran aground. Watched the locals spit roast the ship's doctor, but his medicine chest might still be there, amongst the splinters and bones. It'd have everything Nessa might need. Dr. 𝐄𝐗𝐈𝐋𝐄 was lousy with a scalpel and even worse with a saw, but he knew his apothecary. Explains the shaky hands, if you ask me. Made any progress?
I witnessed your battle against 𝐿𝐿𝐿. I wasn't aware your people had such abilities. My name is Johan, and I'm from the Far East. My people, the 𝐾𝐿𝐴𝐿, are attempting to build a settlement near here. We could use someone with your talents. You know the land, you know the dangers. Will you join us? I'll await your answer in King's March. Return soon.
Fine work with 𝐿𝐿𝐿. Where'd you learn to fight like that? No, forget I asked. We exiles have no history. Dominus took it from us when he had his blackguards dump us in the water out there. Here, got something for you. Should help you kill a few more of those undead bastards. Don't bother thanking me. The way I figure it, the longer we fighters live, the longer everyone lives. Farewell.
I know that stench, just like my sisters upon the pyre.
𝐿's canoe struck this sand with the force of destiny. At his beck, the greatest war host in 𝐏𝐗𝐈 history tamed the wild sea, their canoes coupling with the land one by one. Lioneye's gemlings met us with shining metal and bold words. Hyri's arrows withered their pride. 𝐿's axis silenced their despair. Marseilles Lioneye fought bravely to the last. 𝐿 honored him with a place on his belt. 𝐿 has shown 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐇 our 𝐏𝐗𝐈 strength. 𝐿 will teach 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐇 the 𝐏𝐗𝐈 way.
To learn is to live. mana. mana.
Has removed the eternal stain from this coast. The Empire's citizens decorate our meeting houses with their heads. Our warriors build homes for our families. Our families till the earth, fish the waters, fill the air with song. The 𝐏𝐻𝐈 way is yet a seedling here, but it grows, gains in pride and power every day. 𝐿 has kept his promise. The time of the 𝐏𝐻𝐈 has come.
Stop believing in miracles. This medicine chest, it's greater than the serums and salves it holds. It tells us that we can do more in 𝐿 than merely suffer. I've not much to offer in return, but please, take something in thanks for what you've done. Goodbye.
So, you managed to salvage Shaky Ann's druggery. Nicely done. Nessa will put it to good use. More than that benumbed quack Optin ever did.
Got a job for you, if you're willing. There's a pool near the mudflats needs investigating. You'll smell it before you see it. Stinks like a carcass in high summer. But that's not the worst of it. Dead birds walking. Animals don't rise up again the same as people do here. So if they aren't raising themselves, what's doing it for them? The answer's in that fetid pool. Clear the place out and kill whatever's raising those rowers. We've got enough living dead to contend with already. Stay sharp out there.
Yes? Goodbye.
This ray class will serve.
storms descend on us from the north. Unnatural tempests of rage and hatred lashing our backs, tearing at our houses. The rain is shot with shadow. It withers our crops, sickens our livestock. And the wind carries with it a restless spirit that breeds melancholy and madness. A spirit that creeps through our dreams, weaves tales of misdeed around our resting minds. We try not to listen. We try to remember ourselves. Some of us forget. Brothers fight. Brothers die. 𝐿𝐴 punishes those that quarrel, that steal, that murder. Yet still the nightmares goad us into malefaction. We 𝐾𝐗𝐈 are banished from sleep.
Now that you've drained that passage, best I warn you about something. I was running down a wounded rower one night's eve when I glimpsed something in that waterlogged cavern. Looked a bit like a sand spitter, only the size of a bloody ox. I reckon it's nesting down in those flooded depths somewhere. If you're going that way, then do us a favor. Spill the old shield crab's guts before it gets hungry and comes looking for us. Necromancer. Just the one, was it? Guess the bastard got a bit lonely, decided to make himself some pets. Well, good to see you don't mind getting your hands good and filthy. Here, to mark a dirty job well done. I've traveled inland on the Emperor's Road via Prisoner's Gate. Had to skirt around 𝐾𝐿𝐴 Prison. That's the holdfast of Brutus the Warden. Bloody treacherous trip it was. Worth it? There's forest inland. Game, berries, fruit. More food than we can scrounge here. But most here wouldn't survive the journey. It would be a damn sight easier if we could pass through the prison. Tell you what, you carve us a path up the coast, find us a way past or through Brutus, and you'll have more than a few lives owing to you. Farewell. Welcome. Farewell. managed to kill a granddaddy crab. A pity you couldn't lug it up out of the caves for us. Could have made quite the chowder out of it. No matter. We've got one less reason to fear the dark, and I've got one more thing to thank you for. Farewell. Welcome. Stay sharp out there.
With sharp teeth.
class rejects the dead. The black spirit of storm and dream now reaches into the ground and raises up our slain imperial foes. It leads the fallen from their graves and drives them to fight us beyond the end, rotted tooth and jagged nail. Our own remembered have joined their cursed ranks. No longer may we give our beloved to the birds, messengers of spirit to the sky, conveyors of flesh to the earth. Calm has commanded us to destroy our remembered with axe and fire. Calm is the bravest of us, willing to bear the ire of the ancestors for the survival of his people.
Yes? God hasn't abandoned us.
Filled with a hatred of mankind that is beyond instinct. Now it is we who must bend and bow like saplings before the sea-born gale. The firstborn of the kingdom of 𝐿𝐿 greeted us this day. The firstborn of the kingdom of 𝐿𝐿, the black spirit infects living flesh and bone. The animals suffered first, their bodies changed, their eyes filled with a hatred of mankind that is beyond instinct. Now it is we who must bend and bow like saplings before the sea-born gale. The firstborn of the kingdom of 𝐿𝐿 greeted us this day. The firstborn of the kingdom of 𝐿𝐿 was buried this day. Even our children are not spared the Black Spirit's touch. What have we done to enrage Rayclast? We look to 𝐿𝐿. Our king will lay the spirit of this land.
Rather burn than call such a place home.
The tale of Brutus was a popular one in the schools of Theopolis, taught in the hopes of deterring students from ambitions not condoned by the Templar. Brutus was warden of 𝐿𝐴𝐶 Prison and one of the most feared men in the Eternal Empire. But there the histories end, and the myth begins, with Brutus commissioning a witch to transform him in a mad attempt at immortality. A moment of hubris that didn't end well for anyone. If it's true, then Brutus has my pity. Some of us pay too dearly for our mistakes. Yet if you insist on learning from your own mistakes, then please, take one of these. You might need it. Farewell.
There's a fine line between man and monster. Brutus, the warden of 𝐿𝐴𝐶 Prison, he crossed that line long ago. A big lad, and as you know from 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐾, big lads are slow. Hit and run, that's the way to cut them down to size. Unless there's thaumaturgy involved, then forget the hitting bit, just run. Farewell.
We've met.
not before.
court of the goddess, every man and woman is deemed worthy of redemption. Though you might be shackled by the tribulations of the past, the trials ahead offer you both freedom and glory. The future is yours, if you're bold enough to reach out for it.
Mana. clatter.
Ignorance brought you here, sister, to the one place where your talents are free to grow and be truly feared.
Still the 𝐄𝐗𝐈𝐋𝐄 barbarians advance upon us. Lioneye is dead, his legion slaughtered along with every eternal man, woman and child from Lioneye's watch to the foot of our axiom. Should the need arise, we shall retreat through Prison's Gate, raising my barricade behind us. Yet our salvation is at hand. Foul times demand heroic deeds, and through my arts our Lord Brutus will arise anew to defend us. May the dry sands quench their thirst with 𝐄𝐗𝐈𝐋𝐄 blood when our mighty warden delivers his judgment upon them.
Had you been my creation, brute, you'd not have fallen so easily. Too much clatter.
My loyal Declan, give Our Lady Piety your absolute support and watch her with absolute scrutiny. There is much to learn from the likes of the Inquisitor, the Umbra, and the Soulless One. I would hate for Piety to feel that she need shoulder such perilous wisdom alone. Dominus.
Dear Chevron, you have certainly had your work cut out for you with Lioneye's legion. Do not concern yourself with Marseilles' complaints. Our Emperor is fully aware of the General's fickle nature. As to your need to accelerate the implantation process, I can recommend a quite simple alteration. Dip the gem in a boiling solution of 6 parts blood and 1 part 𝐏𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐼c sulfide for no more than 13 seconds. Any longer, and you invite the crystal's wrath. Once the gem is withdrawn from the solution, you have but a few seconds to install the gem in the prepared flash and close the wound. Should the gem cool too much prior to implantation, it will become inert, and your patient with it. Trust in that bountiful talent of yours, Sharan. My thoughts are with you. Malachi.
For some, death is welcomed with open arms. Did you end Brutus's suffering out of avarice or mercy? Only you know the answer to that one. God hasn't abandoned us. Hello. God hasn't abandoned us.
The warden's free of his own prison. Well, since you're so bloody determined to cheat the britches off death, you'd better have one of these, for luck. And when they write the song about you, just be sure to mention that it was 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐇 who taught you everything you know.
your own good, sister.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Merveil dwells in the caves beyond the wrecks, at the head of Siren's Cove. Leave her be, and we can only hope that she continues to return the favor. Farewell.
stands before us and looks out to the raging sea. He sings, calls, screams to our ancestors to come to our aid. He offers them gifts of old, a feast of heart and mind, muscle and marrow, cooked in the fire and rock of this angry land. We have not practiced these ways in so many years. Only in the darkest of times, most desperate of times, do we perform these oldest of rituals. Only here and now may we sacrifice and consume our own. Only in our King can we trust this return to our ancient selves.
Frankly, I would have been surprised if you hadn't recognized me. Yes, 'tis I, Captain Sigmund Fairgraves, wave-tamer, pirate bane, and conveyor of civilization to barbaric lands. So, what am I doing here, apart from blowing my own bugle? I'm marooned, languishing, thanks to a pair of pretty blue eyes. Stuck fast in the filthy mud of 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐇, thanks to one sultry little slave girl. I liberated her from the flesh pits of Trathos, and she repaid me in full with sleight of hand and swift feet. Turned the coat of my first mate, took my hard-earned all-flame, and with it the wind out of me sails. Find my all-flame, I beg of you. Till I feel its warmth again, I'm trapped here, high and dry, until the sun's final setting. Till we meet again, perhaps.
Is gone. Our king has taken our finest 500 warriors and descended into the depths of 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐇. He spoke to us of a vision, a gift from the ancestors. 𝐏𝐿 has been deceived. The vision was a gift from the Black Spirit. It has conquered 𝐏𝐿. The Black Spirit has conquered the Karui way. 𝐼rë has made ready her canoes. We will take those that are left, 500 forgotten families, and carry them back to their true homes. Back to 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿. 𝐿's promises have led us into nightmare. 𝐼rë will lead us back to the dawn.
Too precious to waste on you. When I'm ready, and not before.
My Allflame, my blessed damned Allflame. Oh, you want your moment of firelight now, do you? Unfortunately, necessity is what it is, and for the Allflame to give life, It must first be kindled with life, and since suitable kindling is in short supply around these parts, I have little option but to make do with what I have. Namely, you. Please understand that as a gentleman of honor, it pains me greatly to do this. Hard times call for hard hearts. But sure, were the circumstances reversed, you'll know precisely the same.
And that's how you die properly, sailor boy. No half measures, thank you. And not before.
If you must take your chances with the siren, then have this. It may be of some help. But please, know that you don't have to do this. 𝐿𝐿𝐿 and I are getting used to having you around. Goodbye.
Fairgraves was a good man, a fine explorer. He opened the door to many a new world, for better or for worse, usually for worse when it came to the natives. There's some peace in the knowledge that he now rests where he should. Let's not speak of Fairgraves again, shall we? He was an inspiration to many. 'Twould be a shame to spoil a good hero.
Exile. Decisions.
Welcome.
I gave away my heart on the promise of a lie.
Welcome, husband. We knew in our hearts that you would find us. Come to Resso. Ambrosia and Amarissa must meet their father. Come, my love. Return to your family.
I'm so cold and lonely. Embrace me. I wait for days return, darkness slow. I take a good wife.
wife. 'Twas love that did this to you.
D'Oresso gave me the gem, kissed me, promised that he would be by my side forever. I sang for him. I sang for Oriath with his gem at my throat. 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐿's gem, 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐿's voice. I sang in her echo, performing arias that had once made the Empire weep. I listened to 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐿's lullabies in my dreams. I gave myself to her music, mind and body. D'Oresso left me for San with a promise to free me from 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐿. I begged him not to go, tried to show him the wonder of my transformation, the beautiful daughters he would soon meet. He couldn't see. None of them could see. I fled from their hatred. When D'Oresso returns, I will cast his cure away. I will teach him what true love is.
It's nice to see there's still some life in this twitching corpse of a continent.
I thought you were a fool for seeking out Merveil. A fool in love with death. Now, I don't know. Still, you've delivered this coast from the terrors that long held sway here. We may now find some respite, and that's more than any of us could have hoped for. But please, consider this. What have you become when even nightmares fear you? Take care.
Quite the lady killer, aren't you? That singing squid didn't stand a chance. Knew it from the first time I saw those sharp peepers of yours. Pirates notwithstanding, I thank you on behalf of all the fallen brethren of the waves. Now that the final cadence has been played, no one need remember Merveil's song.
Damn me! I didn't think it possible. All these souls Merveil and her brood have consumed over the years. You've done right by those that are dead, and by those who still might live. Stay sharp out there.